This is Adnan Ahmed. In this video, I'm going to discuss about sentence and its types. Sentence structure and its type. So we have different types of sentences. So there are two categories of sentences. One is sentence based of structure, simple, compound, and complex sentences. And if we discuss about sentence from meaning type, we have interrogative, negative, affirmative. We have 7 types of sentences. 3 types of sentences as structure and 7 types of sentences as a meaning or sense. So first is sentence structures as well as sense. As I've told you right now, at the moment, simple sentence according to structure, and these 3 types of sentences are frequently used in all kinds of writing, whether it's a research writing, a report writing, or a descriptive, any type of composition. You will find these kind of structures: simple, compound, and complex. It is mandatory for all candidates, particularly for intermediate and for higher education, to get command, to be good at these 3 structures. Okay. Apart from these 3 structures, we have 7 types of sentences, and 7 types they all are on the basis of sense and meaning. Okay. So my topic is simple, compound, and complex sentence. If we discuss simple, compound, and complex sentences, this is mandatory for you to understand the idea of a clause. We have 2 clauses: dependent clause and independent clause. One side we have clause, second we have a sentence. Difference between a sentence is a group of words, maybe single word, which has a complete meaning or sense. And number second is a clause as a group of words which has a complete meaning and sense. But difference is a sentence is which has subject part and a predicate part. Okay, we will discuss this later on. But right now, dependent clause and independent clause. A dependent clause is also known as a subordinate clause, and independent clause, principal clause. Okay, Sarah has recently completed her MBA. Sarah has recently completed her MBBS. So we have one sentence. Sarah is a subject, remaining part is the part of sentence, predicate part. It has complete meaning and sense, a complete sentence. Second, Sarah is quite talented and competent. Number second sentence. So we have 2 sentences, and both are simple sentences. A sentence which is quite easy to understand, which has a single subject and predicate, is known as a simple sentence. And most of the sentences, they are simple sentence. Okay, let's see, we will merge these 2 sentences. Sarah has recently passed her MBBS. Who is quite talented and competent. One side we have independent clause. If we remove the second part of sentence, who is quite talented and competent. If we remove this part, has its own meaning and sense. This part of sentence, this clause does not need another part. So this clause is an independent clause. Hopefully you are getting independent clause. It can stand its own without linking with other part of sentence. So Sarah has recently passed her MBBS. It has its own meaning without the help of a second part of sentence. Number second is who is quite talented and competent. Who is quite talented and competent, it does not give you complete meaning or sense, because this part of sentence needs another part of sentence to be completed. Who is quite talented and competent. Who is quite talented and competent, who indirectly or directly, it will refer to the subject. It is incomplete without linking the first part of sentence. So we have one sentence which has 2 clauses, a dependent clause and independent clause. If we have a sentence which has 2 clauses or more than 2 clauses, consists of a dependent clause and independent clause, is known as a complex sentence. Hopefully you are getting. Complex sentence definition is a sentence which has 2 clauses or more than 2 clauses. One is dependent or second is independent clause. So this one is a complex sentence. Second, we have compound sentence. Two classes. Sarah likes to play tennis. Sentence, simple sentence. Sarah's sister likes to play football. There are two sentences. We will merge two sentences. Sarah likes to play tennis, while her sister likes to play football. Two sentences. Both have one. This sentence will merge, and it is one sentence with two clauses, and both clauses are independent clauses. The first part of sentence does not need another part of sentence to be completed. The second part of sentence, it doesn't require to be completed if we add the first part of sentence. Both are independent, and both they have their own meaning without linking to each other. So if we have a sentence which has two clauses or more than two clauses, and both are independent clauses, is known as a compound sentence. Hopefully you are getting. I will repeat my words. If we have a sentence which has two clauses or more than two clauses, and both clauses are independent clauses, they have their own meaning and sense without the linking with other part of sentence. Compound sentence. Second, we have different examples here. Complex and compound sentence. Three examples of a complex sentence, three examples of compound sentence. It is the school where I spent 10 years. It is the school independent clause where I spent my 10 years. A dependent clause. A sentence which has a dependent clause and independent clause. Complex sentence. He is my friend Ahmed, who works in an international organization. One is dependent, second is independent. First is independent clause, second is dependent clause. What you said, I didn't understand. What you said is a dependent clause. It doesn't give you complete meaning until unless you link this part of sentence with another part. So hopefully you are getting this. Complex sentence means two clauses. One is dependent, second is independent. If we discuss about these examples, number second example from compound sentence. She is good at mathematics. It has its own meaning and sense without linking the other part of sentence. And she achieved the highest marks in mathematics. Another part of sentence, it has its own meaning without linking the first part. So this sentence has two clauses and both are independent clauses. It's known as a compound sentence. Right? He is a professional doctor besides a recognized philanthropist. One part, second part, both they have their own meaning without the help of other part of sentence. Compound sentence. A sentence which has two clauses or more than two clauses, but they have their meaning by themselves without the help of other part of sentence. This is all about a simple, compound and complex sentence. It will help you. This video will help you to understand the structure of sentences. Second, if you have any kind of query, questions, interrogation, write down. Within time you will be answered and you will understand this.